Welcome back to the channel. I am Skylar James, and today we're going to be talking about the renewable energy sector. From the Industrial Revolution to mass production and then the digital revolution, they were all powered by the same driving force, the harnessing of energy. As we become more sophisticated, society now realizes how we get this energy may be just as important as what it's powering. And to that end, clean energy is the power of the future. And I'll be focusing my energy investment dollars into two renewable energy ETFs. These funds should benefit from future federal dollars, as well as investors like myself, putting our money into ideas we can stand behind. If you're interested in investing in the energy sectors of the future, then this video is for you. Prices for stocks in this sector have fallen off a cliff recently. Is this the strongest buying opportunity we'll see for the next 10 years? Maybe so. Today, we hash out what makes a good renewable energy ETF. I'll show you my full selection process, and in 10 minutes, I'll have done all the homework for you. This hasn't been a great year to date for renewable energy ETFs. Prices rose and then crashed in a textbook bubble fashion, just like SPACs, NFTs, and Cathie Wood picks. But don't walk away from clean energy because of bubble talk. I think these are legitimate businesses with exciting revenue expansion ahead of them. Every time I want to play a trend like this, I go to ETFs. They make for smart, diversified, and broad investing. I've recommended them to you in many of my other videos, and I always show you my selection process for each one to help you decide which to purchase and which to ignore. I look at expense ratios, assets under management, the number of holdings in each ETF, and the concentration of those holdings. And then I also like to run a dummy check to make sure their holdings aren't too close to the S&P 500, which will always be less expensive option than a thematic ETF. Here for renewable energy, I've added a few niche specific caveats. First, Tesla can't be more than 5% of the portfolio. To me, this is a smart filter because there is so much optimism priced into that stock already. Even with it pulling back from its recent all-time highs, it's still very highly valued. So I'm pushing any renewable ETF to the side if Tesla sits at more than 5% of its holdings. Right off the bat, that eliminates some of the big ones like ACEs, SMOG, and QCLN. Fine ETFs, but the Tesla filter knocks them out. The second filter I'm using for renewable ETFs is that it can't be hydrogen power exclusive. I'm looking at you, HGen and HDRO. I don't want to be purely speculative. I want revenue-ready concepts like solar, wind, and the components that support those systems. Are there enough revenue-earning hydrogen-focused businesses to fill a whole ETF? Actually, I have no idea, but probably not. We'll reserve a hydrogen analysis for a future video. The third and final renewable filter, I want diversity in my renewable ETF. For the same reason I won't go all in on hydrogen ETFs, I can't go all in on TAN, FAN, the lithium ETF, or any EV exclusive ETFs either. My list of brokerage holdings is too long. I can't be adding 5 or 6 ETFs to cover just one niche sector. So those are my 3 custom ETF filters for this genre. Moderate Tesla exposure, not hydrogen exclusive, and broad rather than specialized. Now let's add my regular ETF filters to the mix by eliminating low AUM funds. I believe that niche ETFs with high AUM can steer all the funds below it. Follow the money and hop on board the Big Daddy ETFs. And we're left with pretty much just PBW from Invesco and ICLN from BlackRock. And as we line these up, the first thing I notice is the expense ratio difference, and that both of them have been around for a decade plus, so no risk of them closing down. But what does that higher expense ratio give me? PBW tracks an index from Wilderhill. Their criteria for inclusion in PBW is that no stock can exceed 4% of the fund. It needs to be clean energy related and with a market cap of at least 50 million. But companies under 200 million in cap will see a smaller allocation. Okay, that sounds good, and they're in sectors I personally want to invest in. Renewable energy harvesting and storage, delivery and conversion of that energy, and clean fuel and utilities. This ETF checks a lot of boxes with a lot of variety. I love what I see here. What about iClean? There's an interesting backstory here. Yes, it's the AUM leader in the space by a long shot, over 5 billion in this Big Daddy ETF, and it currently has 80 plus holdings. But a couple months ago, it only had 30 holdings. 5 billion in assets and only 30 holdings? Some say it contributed to the bubble in a few small cap renewables last winter. These massive allocations to just a handful of specialized stocks became problematic for both the ETF and the companies it holds. S&P Global said so themselves, and they run the underlying index to iClean. So the index was rebuilt, rebalanced, and S&P changed their selection rules. All this in the name of stability. The new index allows for both pure play renewable energy companies as well as companies who get a large portion of their revenue from clean energy. The pure play aspect was toned back some, and hey, remember that bubble picture from a few minutes ago? That was iClean, pre-rebalance. Yikes. iClean is still globally focused compared to PBW, taking a more domestic approach. But the top 10 of iClean are 49% of its holdings. Remember, there's real value in understanding how much your ETF allocates to its top 10 holdings. They can steer the fund's performance, overruling the lesser constituents. Whether that works out in your favor is something only hindsight can tell. But look at this lack of overlap between PBW and iClean. Only 25% of what's in iClean is also in PBW. These are very different ETFs. Check out some of these disparities. iClean offers significant exposure to global companies that PBW just doesn't offer. But we already went through PBW and through the selection criteria, and they were excellent. Maybe you know where I'm going here. I'm buying both. Due to their combined diversity, choosing both is stronger than choosing either singularly. Both iClean and PBW are in a high growth niche and well off their recent highs. It's time to start easing into these two for the long haul. I plan on holding both of these for a decade or more. I don't want to have to think about it again. PBW and iClean will keep adding new relevant stocks for me. In this video, as well as many others, you'll hear me harp on the benefits of ETF investing over choosing individual stocks. Unless, of course, you have 40 hours each week to devote toward news and technical indicators for every single company in your portfolio. I find it so much easier to evaluate an entire sector and then build out that portion of my investment through the strongest ETFs in that sector or niche. What we covered earlier was a simple, pragmatic way to choose the two strongest ETFs within the renewable energy sector. I hope that you find the best picks for you and your portfolio. And if this analysis helped your portfolio become just a little more diversified, ping that like button. It is a renewable energy source. Well, it gives me energy anyway. And apparently, it powers the YouTube algorithm as well. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you on the next one.